Hello everyone, I'm Paolo Marzioli.
And I'm Lorenzo Frezza.
And welcome to the first video tutorial for the SDRplay course in Understanding Radio Communications using SDRs. The first lecture, named Hello World, is an introduction to the SDR world and to the first practical experience. With the theoretical slides of lecture 1, you already had a recap on what is an SDR, what can you do with an SDR, and what are the typologies of an SDR. Now the practical part is in that letting the students connect the RSP, probably for the first time, to a computer, and to see and receive actual signals for the very first time, to check that everything works. Okay, let's get started. You don't need anything more than SDR receivers. We have a couple of RSP1As here. SMA antennas, we have a monopole here, and USB Type B cables for connection to your computer. The connection is simply performed by screwing in the antenna to the SMA termination of the SDR and then plugging the USB Type B cable. And then when you're ready, you can plug in the USB termination into your personal computer and start up SDR1. Okay, Lorenzo will show you now how to start up SDR1 and how to receive your first signals.
Hello everyone, let's go through with an introduction to SDR1, the main software for operating an RSP. The software is released and maintained by SDRplay and is tailored around the features of the RSPs. When you first open up SDR1, you get all the main windows organized in this fashion. Each of these control a different aspect of the RSP. On top of each window you can see its title, hinting at the function of each of them. Starting from the top left, we have the main window, which controls the main parameters of the radio. Here you can select the sampling rate, the decimation, the different notches, the bias T, or the RF gain. In this window, you will also have a list of all the RSPs connected to your computer, if you have more than one. By pressing play, we can begin signal reception. You can now see something appearing on the biggest window, the main SP. This stands for main spectrum and is the spectrum view of the frequency band we are receiving. In fact, you can see that we have selected 2 MHz of sampling rate, and as such we are seeing on the spectrum a frequency range which is 2 MHz wide, from around 436 MHz to around 438 MHz. What we are actually listening to is only the small dark area of the main SP, centered on the red vertical line. This red line indicates the center frequency we are listening to, and the gray area is the extent of bandwidth we are hearing. To make it easier, we also have the aux XP window, the auxiliary spectrum. This shows only a zoomed-in version of the spectrum we are listening to. Here, the red vertical lines indicate the range of frequency we are demodulating. But what are we actually listening to? This, in fact, is just noise. We can see in the RX control window that we are at 427 MHz. We can change the frequency by clicking on the number, which will disappear, and then we can type our desired frequency. For example, let's go to 100 MHz, which is the typical frequency for FM radio. By pressing enter, we can see that the frequency has changed and that the spectrum view has changed as well. We now see several peaks in our spectrum. These are the FM radio stations. Each peak is a single station, and we can fine-tune to one by clicking on it on the spectrum view, or by slightly altering the frequency in the RX control window. On the next lectures, we'll go through what parameters to choose to actually hear the FM radio properly, because right now we can hear something, but it doesn't feel quite right.
So thank you very much for following this video tutorial. We hope it helped in setting up the course. See you at the next video lecture, that will be lecture 4. And we remind you that all the materials of the course can be downloaded for free on the SDRplay website, and the link is on the description of this video. Thank you and see you soon.